ABC is pulling late-night host Jimmy Kimmel off the air over his comments on the Charlie Kirk shooting. And police in Mississippi say there's no evidence of foul play after a black college student was found dead hanging from a tree on campus. Good morning, I'm Kristen Wright with NPR News, and here are today's top stories. President Trump and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer have signed an agreement to move toward expanding cooperation between the two countries on technology and nuclear energy. NPR's Danielle Kurtzleben reports Trump is on the second day of his state visit to the UK and arrived at Starmer's country home today.
Trump was greeted at Chequers by Starmer and his wife, Lady Starmer. Multiple American CEOs have come along for the trip. U.S. tech companies, including Google and Microsoft, have said they plan billions of dollars in investments in the UK. Other key issues the two leaders are expected to speak about include the tariffs Trump has imposed on UK goods, as well as the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine. Danielle Kurtzleben, NPR News, Chequers.
ABC has indefinitely suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live after remarks the late-night host made about the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. President Trump and others are applauding the decision, as NPR's Mondalit Del Barco reports.
Host Jimmy Kimmel had called Charlie Kirk's murder senseless. During his monologue on Monday, he said this.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
That sparked a backlash by Kirk's supporters, the chair of the Federal Communications Commission, and ABC affiliates from Nexstar and Sinclair, who demanded Kimmel apologize to the Kirk family and donate to his group Turning Point USA. President Trump congratulated the network for pulling Kimmel's show just 2 months after he had celebrated CBS for canceling The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Many have denounced Kimmel's suspension as censorship. Mondalit Del Barco, NPR News.
Nexstar recently announced it's acquiring a broadcast rival. The multi-billion-dollar deal needs FCC approval. There are new details about the arrest of the man charged with killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk in Utah last week. Kirk was shot while speaking at an event hosted by his organization Turning Point USA at Utah Valley University. Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby says he got a call letting him know that Tyler Robinson wanted to turn himself in.
Part of the negotiation and getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible to make him feel comfortable to where he would show up at my office, and that's exactly what happened.
The sheriff says Robinson was afraid he'd be shot by police. Autopsy results are expected soon in the death of a black college student found hanging from a tree at Delta State University in Mississippi. Staff members found 21-year-old Trey Reed's body on Monday. Authorities say there's no evidence of foul play at this point. His family is pursuing an independent investigation. Students on campus are upset. Marquand McKinney is a first-year student.
Everybody's shooken up right now. There's a lot of emotions going on.
Civil rights groups are calling for a thorough investigation. Advisors to the CDC are opening a 2-day meeting in Atlanta to consider controversial changes in recommendations for 2 childhood vaccines and COVID-19 shots. NPR's Rob Stein has more.
The CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices is meeting to make 3 important recommendations. The committee will consider whether newborn babies should continue getting vaccinated against hepatitis B, whether children should be able to get vaccinated against chickenpox with the same shot that protects against measles, mumps, and German measles, or whether they have to get separate shots, and whether to further narrow who should be eligible for the updated COVID vaccines. Most of the recommendations go to the CDC's acting director for final approval. Rob Stein, NPR News.
Flags in Pennsylvania are being flown at half-staff to honor 3 officers who were killed in the line of duty in York County yesterday. Police were responding to a domestic incident. The suspect was killed by police. Syria's president says his country could soon agree to a security pact with Israel, but he says normalization with Israel is not on the table. NPR's Jana Raff reports.
Syrian President Ahmed Ashara says security talks with Israel could result in an agreement within the coming days. Syria and Israel are officially at war, but the U.S. brokered meetings this year between the two for the first time in decades. Shara took power after opposition fighters toppled the Syrian regime last year. He says a security pact is necessary to stop ongoing Israeli airstrikes and ground incursions into Syria. The Syrian president says it's too early to discuss the fate of the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. And he says normalizing ties with Israel is not currently on the table. Jane Araf, NPR News, Damascus.
There is one name leading the pack of Latin Grammy nominations, Bad Bunny. The Puerto Rican superstar received 12 nominations, as NPR's Isabella Gomez Sarmiento reports.
Bad Bunny is up for Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Record of the Year. The nominations are for his album Debí Tirar Más Fotos, a love letter to Puerto Rico's history and cultural heritage. The Argentine duo Catriel y Paco Amoroso follow close behind with 10 nods. Their album Papota, half of which was recorded at NPR's Tiny Desk, is up for Album of the Year. The duo also has multiple nominations for Song and Record of the Year. Among the artists up for Latin Grammys for their work behind the scenes, producer and songwriter Edgar Barrera has 10 nominations for his work with artists like Karol G, Shakira, and Grupo Frontera. Isabella Gomez Sarmiento, NPR News.
This is NPR.